Christy, Whitney, President and CEO, HopeWest. HopeWest has a mission of profoundly changing the experience of people who have a serious illness and the grief of their families. And so everything that we do is focused on people trying to live the best life they can despite being seriously ill, and to support people who love them in their grief so that they can move on with their lives and have the best life that they can have despite a tragedy or the grief of losing a loved one. Like a lot of organizations, though, there's a diverse group of employees because we have a number of clinicians. We also have a number of people who are really the wind beneath their wings that keep the organization going. So we really subscribe to Jim Collins' first who's on the bus principle, and really look for people who have a shared values of the organization. And those values really drive everything that we do. When people apply for a job, they have to go online and they answer a questionnaire that says, do they agree with these values? Because they may or may not, and it doesn't mean they're bad people, but they won't fit in very well in our organization. So those shared values drive everything that we do. We also use a tool called Predictive Index, which is really sort of a work styles inventory that used by IBM and other huge accounting firms across the world. And it helps you get a glimpse into how someone might naturally be in relation to work. If someone's highly opinionated, or are they highly introverted, or do they have a great sense of urgency, and how much detail orientation do they have? These are all things that have a lot to do. You wouldn't want a chief financial officer who didn't get into detail, right, as a personality. Or you might not want a person who is a nurse who really doesn't like being with people that much. So these are the kinds of things that we look to that are systematic to help us have the right people. And then we look for people who can naturally exude warmth and optimism, because to do this kind of work, it is the hospitality business, and you have to look for people who are cup half full people, and people who are naturally warm and that you're drawn to when you meet them. So a number of our employees actually are hired, about half of our employees I think come from recommendations of other employees. So I think you hire the good, great, right person the first time, that gets the great second person, the great third person, and as we've built the organization across Western Colorado, that really is how we get our best people. And knowing that it's an ever-changing organization, so we have to have people who are really strong on learning, and that they are passionate about figuring out the best way to do things, and hardworking. And those are the people that grow with you. That it's been kind of a joke in a contest how many name tags someone has had. So have they had 15 jobs in 20 years? Have they had 10? How many times have they moved their office? How many departments have they worked in? And to me, that's a sign of a great hire, is somebody who you could probably build anything with them. They're the right person. So that's how we hire. I was thinking, do we have really a strong competitor that's like us? No. I think that we happen to be a hospice as a way that we get the majority of our revenues right now. But our mission spans so many things and so many programs. We have 19 different businesses and business units. And one day we were really busy and I said, gee, it feels like we're running 19 businesses instead of one. And someone said, well, where have you been? We are. And I think that's it, and that's what makes it. This is what really makes us unique. It's everything from helping people reconnect to socialization through our retail stores and our hundreds of volunteers who volunteer there, and they really volunteer there partly to give back, but partly for the socialization and the re-socialization after losing a loved one. Many of those people have gone through one of our programs. Same thing with our kids program. We have 700 kids a year who go through our grief program, and that's in partnership with all the schools in the communities that we serve. And that program is so robust that nobody really has one like it. And so I think it's all the different dimensions of our organization, that hospice isn't just our one business unit. And so when people think, well, you're a hospice, or people say to me, you're not like any hospice we've ever seen. And so we do hospice, and we do it extraordinarily well with 1,500 volunteers, and we staff better than usual. We use philanthropy as a significant portion, 8% of our revenue. So all of those things make a lot possible that other organizations wouldn't have. I think it's the ever-increasing healthcare environment of complexity and technology and regulation. Those are the things in the last 20 years that we've been operating have really so dramatically changed. We estimated recently, the last 4 years, we've had a lot of regulations come through the Center for Medicare. And I got curious to put a price tag on those regulations. $3.5 million a year annually, that doesn't go away. And so that's increased regulatory burden, increased cost. So that's $3.5 million that didn't go take care of a patient, didn't change anybody's world, just, you know, coping with life, staying regulated, staying compliant. And I think those are the challenges, that we have this dichotomy of this passionate, caring, people-centric organization with this mechanistic, technology-driven and detail, almost crossing I's, hopefully crossing T's and dotting I's, and trying to merge those two worlds. A lot of people, ideally, they'll think, well, hospice is all volunteers, you know. They really don't see sort of the backstage operation. I always think it's a little bit like Disneyland. When you go to Disneyland, all it is, great fun and ease and entertainment. But if you ever went into the tunnels at Disneyland, you know it's highly complex, highly systematic, highly organized. And I think that when I had the benefit of that experience, I thought, well, that is our organization. We have to be this way to the people that we serve. And understand, back here, there's a lot of stuff going on to make all that happen well. Well, it's really an exciting time. We are so excited. We're going to be expanding our mission fairly dramatically in the next 2 to 3 years. We're building a large addition onto our hospice campus, and that campus is going to be called the Center for Living Your Best. And it's going to be a place that not only has a primary care clinic focusing on palliative medicine, it will also have a socialization place, a place that people can get adult day health care. It will enable us to be a PACE center, as well as launch other programs that will support our people and our families staying in their own home, living independently as long as possible. We've become great admirers of Dr. Atul Gawande, and not just his recent book, but of many books that he has written. But his most recent book on being mortal, I think, really it was a very important work. And he describes the dilemma of our culture and our society as people age. And we're facing the next 20 years of people increasingly having so many more people in their 90s and over 100. And we as a society are not really prepared. We've not really figured out how to really take care of these people. And what do we want? I think about 25 years from now, I'll be 85. How do I want to hang out? Where do I want to be? What do I want it to be like? And so we've launched a great initiative where our board and our staff and our advisors, we've all created a mission for going forward for the next 20 years. And how are we going to become that place that is going to help people live to their fullest, despite the fact that they are aging? So that is going to be a most exciting adventure.